name is Stephany, and this is my partner, Francisco Villate, and
Hello.
we chose topic 4.
We're gonna do our topic on looking at John Lennon and his life and career, and we're gonna see how it compares to Horny's theory of relational approach. And so here we go.
Okay. So, Lennon's rough early years, John Lennon was born to parents Julia and Alfred Lennon on October 9th, 1940. His father, Alfred Lennon, was a sea merchant who was most of the time traveling and really didn't have a relationship with John Lennon because of that. At age 5, John Lennon had to choose between leaving with his father to the Netherlands or staying with his mother in Liverpool. Although John decided to stay with his mother, he ended up being adopted by his Aunt Mimi. And his mother, although she lived 10 minutes away from John Lennon, they did not seem to have a close relationship. And his mother actually had 2 children and was married to Bobby Dykins. Later on in life, he did actually have a close relationship with his mom, and she bought him a guitar and encouraged him to pursue his rock and roll dreams. But unfortunately, she died in a car accident when John Lennon was 17 years old. Lennon's relationship with his parents led him to develop basic anxiety and basic hostility towards the world. John was a child when he was expelled from several educational institutions for being rebellious and having defiance towards authority. At age 10, he created satirical cartoons, and they were called The Daily How, and was a weekly updated newspaper and was very popular among his classmates. John was also described as a bully in middle school and made fun of mentally and physically disabled people.
Sitting on a cornflake, waiting for the van to come.
Because of his rough childhood with his parents and stuff, he chose an orientation of moving against people, or an expansive predisposition towards people. And this portrays why, as a child, he was, very rebellious to school authorities and against his parents, and why he was a bully to other kids as well. But there's also a flip side to his expansive behavior that is pretty much linked to why he was so successful as an artist. Since expansive people are so driven to be competitive in their careers and to strive for perfectionism, when he linked up with Paul McCartney, who was a very talented lyricist as well, the two of them dueling together to see who would do better ultimately led to their great success. And that's it. His personality kind of had some dark components to it, especially in the height of Beatlemania, when they were doing the most popular and touring around the world. John had married Cynthia Lennon and had a child, Julian, which he wasn't there for, kind of like his father wasn't there for him. And he also had a lot of domestic violence against his wife Cynthia, and really had problems in terms of being a good family member and a good husband and father. Beatles seemed to keep getting bigger and bigger, going into new forms of music and different things that no one ever did before. And they also got exposed to many more people around the world, and they just kept getting bigger and bigger, kind of like a... And Lennon developed a larger-than-life personality, in a sense. In his songs like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Strawberry Fields Forever, and I Am the Walrus, Lennon kind of depicted himself as kind of like an abstract dream weaver in a trippy, wonderful world of love, as I put it. But this, unfortunately, was an idealized self that Lennon was growing to, rather than his real self, which was more of a conflicted, aggressive person. So, in a way, he was turning away from all of his problems and kind of embracing a fake hippie stereotype, if...
I am the Eggman. They are the Eggman. I am the walrus. Mr. City.
After the end of the whole Beatle craze, and when they actually broke up as a band, John kind of took a radical departure musically, and personally as well. Going back to more an introspective, honest look at himself. In the album that he created right after his songs from the Beatles, his debut album, Plastic Ono Band, he had a lot of songs there depicting himself as a victim of neglectful parents and someone who struggles with basic social anxiety and identity issues, really reflecting his true core self. So a quote from one of his songs that I really like that shows this is the quote, I was the dream weaver, but now I'm reborn. I was the walrus, but now I'm John.
Sitting pretty little policemen in a row. See how they fly like Lucy in the sky. See how they run.
Other than changing musically, he also changed as a person. He really settled down and really came to terms with himself. And unlike his previous marriage with Cynthia, he actually was in a really in-depth relationship with Yoko Ono. And he actually took 5 years off his musical career to help to be a stay-at-home dad and help raise his son Sean that he had newly conceived with Yoko.
See how they fly like Lucy in the sky. See how they run. I'm crying.
In the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Through the acceptance of his true self and connecting and having a loving interpersonal relationship with Yoko and his son, Sean, John was able to abandon his expansive solution and move towards people, promoting peace and non-violence with Yoko until his tragic death in December 8th, 1980.